Catherine Toes and I'm from Easingwell Church.
And I'm Barbara Bancroft and I'm from Emmanuel Church, Bridlington.
That we've actually been accepted through Bishop's Advisory Panel. So we're classified as ordinates, but we are our calling is very much distinctive deacon.
Well, originally I didn't know I was called to be a distinctive deacon. I was actually following the pathway, exploring ordination to be a priest. And that took perhaps longer than expected because I was going down this pathway towards being a priest, and every person I talked to or everything I was set to do that was most meant to sort of inspire me to come back saying, yes, I'm called to be a priest, actually made me feel, no, this isn't to me, but I know I'm being called. So I kept going back to the DDO, returning to him, and he kept sending me off somewhere else until eventually we got to the point where he was desperate and I was desperate, and I basically said, well, if being a priest means I don't have time to visit a particular elderly person I'd helped one Christmas, then I don't want to be a priest. And the DDO sort of prayed and then said, had I thought of being a deacon? And that was really the first I'd heard about being a deacon. I guess all I knew was that was what a stage that priests went through on the way to being ordained a priest, that it was, I suppose I was like everybody else and just thought it was a stepping stone.
I was very privileged because we actually have a full-time deacon working in Easingwell, who is an incredible example of what a deacon should be.
A deacon, went away and did some reading about being a deacon and spoke to Chris Peel, the deacon. It was like a light bulb going on. It was then sort of reading about it and seeing it was somebody who encouraged, like Catherine said, you came alongside people, you work that link between the community and the church, encouraging the community into the church, and yet on the other hand the church out, but more from being at the doorway sort of position and being alongside people rather than being up the front presiding over the Eucharist. That actually, yes, it was just, well, this is stuff I've been doing already. And that was great to know that actually, yes, God had already been forming me all the way along. And that this was, yes, this fitted me.
The deacon always welcomes people from the community into the church because they bridge that gap. And so they're at the door greeting people, encouraging them to come in and come and sit down. And then they will invite them to confession. Then during the service they will read the gospel. They will also say a prayer to invite them to the table. The deacon will serve at the table, but they won't preside. And then at the end they will do the dismissal and they will say goodbye to people at the door with that. And also in the service they will do the intercessions if nobody else has been booked in, because that is bridging the gap. They bring the concerns of the community into the church, both to let the priest know what's going on, but also so that the community can pray for them. And so that is the liturgical role. You hear people talking about they have a calling, and they ultimately say, well, they're going to be, yes, it's a priesting calling, but when you actually start listening to what they're saying, well, actually, I don't really want to be in charge of the church buildings, and I'm not really a committee person. And then you think, well, what would you like to do? And they're saying, well, I love working in the community, and I love being with people and walking alongside people. And that really defines what the deacon role is.